Welcome to English Through Ideas podcast, where we learn English through powerful ideas. So, imagine sitting across a chessboard from a grandmaster.
Oh, that sounds pretty stressful.
Right. You are sweating over your very next move, just trying to survive. But they are already looking at, like, move number 15.
Yeah, exactly.
And what if the reason your business, or even just your personal life, feels stuck right now isn't because you are making bad moves?
So what is the reason then?
Well, it's maybe because you are trying to make move 14 when you are naturally only on move 2.
That tension, that exact feeling is the core metaphor of today's source material. It's this really powerful 2019 keynote speech by an entrepreneur named Patrick Bet-David.
And he runs the Valuetainment channel on YouTube.
He does, yeah. And his main point is that the average player only knows 1 to 3 moves ahead.
Which is most of us, honestly.
Right, exactly. But the grandmaster knows 11 to 15. Life and business, they operate on that exact same principle.
So success isn't just about hard work then?
No, not at all. I mean, it's about the timing and the sequence of your moves.
Well, today's deep dive is all about closing that gap for you.
Oh.
We are going to break down how to think 15 moves ahead.
Yeah, focusing on like self-improvement, the psychology behind it, and communication.
Using simple, clear English to help you grow. And it all starts with something the speaker calls your lens.
Yeah, the lens. To plan a long-term move, you first have to actually look at the board,
Right. And how you look at the board changes everything.
It really does. Think of your mental lens like the algorithm on your favorite social media app.
Okay, like how it shows you what you already watch.
Exactly. If you only click on angry videos, the app only shows you angry people. It filters your reality completely.
That makes total sense.
So if your internal algorithm is constantly asking, how can I get money from you?
Oh, wow.
Your brain literally filters out opportunities to build real lasting relationships. You just become blind to the best moves on the board.
Because you just end up seeing every single person as a transaction. Yeah, exactly.
And the speaker shares this perfect story that kind of illustrates this bad lens.
Oh, the guy at the luncheon.
Yeah, the Vegas real estate kid. So the speaker was at a business luncheon, right? And this young guy approached him.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy spent like 30 seconds giving him these incredible compliments.
Saying he changed his life and all that.
Exactly. He said his content was amazing, his videos were so inspiring. But the very second he finished the compliment,
He ruins it.
he completely ruins it. He hands over a business card and says, if you ever want to buy real estate in Vegas, call me.
Yeah, his intention was just completely exposed right there.
Right. The young man's mental algorithm was set strictly to, are you a customer?
He couldn't see the speaker as a mentor or even just as a human being.
Yeah.
He literally just saw a wallet.
It's an incredibly limiting way to interact with the world. And, people can sense it instantly.
They really can.
Yeah.
But contrast that with the story about a man named Eli.
Oh, this is the exact opposite lens in action. It really is. So the speaker was much younger, and he was just washing dishes at a party at Eli's house.
Just helping out.
Yeah. And instead of pitching a business idea or, asking for a favor, he just walked up to Eli and asked a very simple, honest question.
He asked, how can I help you?
Right. How can I help you? And that single question unlocked something massive. Because Eli didn't ask for some small favor.
No, he asked for something huge.
Eli's son was actually locked up in a hardcore prison.
Which is terrifying.
It was a very dangerous place, yeah. And none of Eli's friends or relatives were willing to visit him.
But the seeker actually went, right?
He did. Keeping his promise to help, he drove to that prison and sat with Eli's son for 30 days.
That just blows my mind. I mean, he went into a dangerous environment for a whole month just to support someone he barely knew.
But the mechanism behind this is what's so important for our listeners. Because of that massive, unconditional help, Eli gave the speaker access to his personal network.
A network of highly influential people.
Exactly. And through those introductions, the speaker eventually made $30 million from one single contact.
Wow. And he never even asked for money.
No, he just changed his lens to, how can I help? And he let the relationships compound over time.
Okay, so having a helpful lens is clearly crucial. But how does language fit into this? I mean, why do words matter so much here?
Well, having a helpful lens is really only half the equation. You can have the best intentions in the world,
Right.
but if people don't understand what you want in return when the time actually comes, you just stay stuck.
Hmm.
That is where your language acts as the filter for your lens.
I see. So you have the right mindset, but your words actually define the target.
Yes, and if your language is vague, the world has no idea how to deliver what you want.
That reminds me of that dating advice story from the speech.
Oh, that is a brilliant, kind of funny example.
Yeah, this guy said he was looking for a top-notch girl who was 5'7" or 5'8",
And that was his entire criteria.
which means absolutely nothing. I mean, an
Ah.
82-year-old grandmother could be 5'7".
The 12-year-old could be 5'7".
Exactly. If your language is that general, the universe might just hand you a grandmother.
So true. To get exactly what you want out of life, your language must be ultra specific.
And the speaker did this himself, right, when he was looking for a wife.
He did. He wrote down an incredibly detailed list. He even included a specific rule about cooking.
Wait, really? What was the rule?
He said she must be willing to learn how to cook his dad's 5 or 6 signature dishes.
Just so the house would smell a certain way.
Yeah, exactly. So their house would always smell like family food for their future kids.
That level of detail is fascinating. So for you listening, to start thinking 15 moves ahead, the first step is checking your algorithm.
Adjust your lens to look for ways to help.
Right. And then tighten your language so you are incredibly specific about your own goals.
But let's say you do that. Your lens is great, your language is specific, and you start experiencing real success.
You finally hit a point where you feel like you've made it.
Yeah, but the source material brings up a really harsh psychological truth about what happens next. It's about the 1% versus the bottom 1%.
Oh, this is a huge trap for successful people.
Yeah.
Let's say you are in a room of professionals making between like $500,000 and $1 million a year.
In almost any normal context, those people are the top 1%.
Right, they've won. They feel powerful. They feel smart and secure.
But if you take those exact same successful people and walk them down the hall into a different room,
A wealthier room.
yeah, a room where the absolute minimum earner is pulling in $10 million a year, everything changes.
They instantly go from being the top 1% to the bottom 1%.
Exactly. They are suddenly the poorest, least experienced people in the room.
Wow.
And the speaker points out that most people actively avoid this experience.
Because it's emotionally painful to feel small again,
Oh,
right?
absolutely. It's scary to compare yourself upward.
But doesn't that sound exhausting for the listener? I mean, if you are always at the bottom of the next room, when is it enough?
When do you finally stop?
Yeah. Why would anyone willingly subject themselves to that constant feeling of inadequacy?
Well, someone actually asks the speaker that exact question, and his answer completely shifts the perspective.
How so?
He explains that at a certain level of success, it stops being about the money or the status. It actually transforms into a game.
A game, like a board game.
Yeah, think about playing Scrabble or Monopoly with your family. You don't play those games because you desperately need the little colored paper money.
No, of course not. You play to figure out the strategy.
Right. You want to see if your system works against the other players.
So once it becomes a game, you just want to keep playing to see how far your formula can take you.
Exactly. The intellectual challenge itself becomes the reward. We see this constantly with highly driven individuals who just refuse to stop when society tells them they should.
The speaker highlights a few specific examples of this relentless drive, doesn't he?
He does. He talks about Kobe Bryant, for example.
Oh, yeah. He played basketball with that same vicious intensity all the way into his 15th year in the NBA.
Long after he had already secured his legacy and his wealth.
Right. And the speaker also mentions Donald Trump choosing to run for president at 74 years old instead of just quietly retiring with his billions.
Right. A perfect example of not stopping the game.
And just a quick note for you listening, we are impartially reporting the original speaker's examples here.
Yeah.
We are not endorsing any political views whatsoever.
No, not at all. The point is simply about the psychology of relentless drive.
Right. It's just about the mindset of never stopping the game.
Because society, and honestly even your closest friends, they will constantly tell you to slow down once you reach a comfortable level.
They'll tell you to just enjoy the room you're in.
But the true grandmasters are the ones who decide for themselves when the game is over. They constantly seek out the next room because they just love solving the puzzle.
But constantly seeking out the next room requires a massive amount of energy.
It really does.
I mean, if you rely purely on willpower to keep moving forward, you are going to burn out. To think 15 moves ahead, you can't just work harder. You have to build systems.
And those systems run on two specific engines, momentum and speed.
Let's break down momentum first, because the speaker outlines three distinct phases.
Yeah, and the psychology behind them is incredibly relatable for anyone who has ever tried to start a new project.
So the first phase is creating momentum. And this is pure pain.
Oh, absolute pain.
This is the phase where you are working 20-hour days, making massive sacrifices, and you are seeing zero results.
It's basically like trying to push a 2-ton car that is completely out of gas. Getting the tires to roll that very first inch requires almost all your physical and mental strength.
It's exhausting. And that explains a major psychological block for older professionals.
Right. The speaker observes that many 50-year-olds refuse to start new businesses.
Even though they have the experience.
Yeah, they might make up logical excuses about the economy or, their busy schedule.
But the secret truth is, they remember the intense pain of creating momentum back in their 20s.
Exactly. Human brains naturally hate putting in huge amounts of work for zero immediate reward. They just don't want to suffer through that initial friction again.
That makes so much sense, a biological resistance to pain.
But if you survive it, you hit the second phase, maintaining momentum.
Okay, so the car is finally rolling.
Yes. It's much easier than pushing from a dead stop, but you still have to work constantly to keep the speed up.
Because if you get lazy, the car stops.
And then you have to start that painful creation phase all over again.
Which brings us to the third phase. And this is where the grandmasters live. Advancing momentum.
This is the stage where the speaker jokes that you feel like a genius from Planet Zeus.
You feel unstoppable.
Huh.
You are getting overpaid. Opportunities are just falling into your lap.
And even if you make a few mistakes, the market still rewards you.
Right, you look like an absolute hero simply because your system has so much forward energy that minor bumps don't even slow you down.
But to sustain that advancing momentum, you have to master the second engine, which is speed.
And systems generate speed. But the definition of speed is always changing, isn't it?
Always. The speaker uses a great car analogy here to explain this.
Oh, the Ferrari one. So, in 1977, the fastest Ferrari in the world went from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 8.1 seconds.
Which in 1977 was mind-blowing speed.
But today, a basic standard Ford Focus does 0 to 60 in 8.1 seconds.
It's crazy to think about. The standard for speed never stops evolving. What was revolutionary a decade ago is barely average today.
So to stay ahead, you have to optimize 4 different types of business speed.
Right. The first is functioning speed. This is your foundation. Your support system, your administration, your assistants.
Because if your support team is slow, your entire operation drags.
Exactly. You can't be a visionary looking 15 moves ahead if you are personally stuck doing the paperwork for move number 2.
That is such a good point. Okay, what's the second speed?
Then you have processing speed. This is the mechanics of your daily business. How fast can you get a client from the initial contact, step pay, all the way to a completed deal, step Z?
So if it currently takes you 45 days, you have to analyze your system and figure out how to cut it down to 20 days.
Exactly. And improving processing speed isn't just about saving time, it's about clearing the board.
Right. If you can move a client through your system faster, you suddenly free up the mental bandwidth to start setting up moves 10, 11, and 12.
While your competitor is still bogged down managing their current clients, speed creates capacity.
Okay, so once you have that capacity, you look at the third metric,
Yeah.
expansion speed.
Yeah, how quickly you take your successful system into new markets. But the speaker issues a major warning here.
What's the warning?
You can actually destroy your momentum by expanding too fast.
Really? How so? I mean, if the system works, shouldn't you take it everywhere immediately?
You would think so, but he shares a story from his own insurance business to explain why that's dangerous. He had a massive opportunity to expand into India.
Which is a huge market.
Yeah, a market with 316 million policyholders. On paper, it looks like a guaranteed win.
But he didn't do it.
No, he consciously chose not to go yet. He realized that if he moved his best leaders to India to manage that expansion, his current highly profitable operations in the U.S. would suffer.
Ah, I see. So expansion speed must be strictly calculated, not just reckless growth.
Exactly. You have to
Yeah.
balance the ambition with the reality of your resources.
And that leads perfectly into the fourth type of speed, timing speed.
Knowing exactly when to execute a move. And this is probably the hardest one to master.
It's all about context. And the speaker tells a pretty funny joke to illustrate this, doesn't he?
He does. He says, imagine your wife is standing in the bedroom changing her clothes. Is that a good time to casually ask, hey, do you think we should hire a personal trainer?
Wow. Yeah, that is a very quick way to start a massive argument.
Right, she's instantly going to think you are criticizing her appearance.
The message itself might be completely fine in a different context, but the timing makes it an absolute disaster.
The joke proves the point perfectly. In business, you have to know when to launch a new product, when to offer praise, and when to correct an employee.
And good timing speed is usually learned the hard way, right?
Oh, yeah, through failing and making awkward mistakes. But it's what separates good players from grandmasters.
Okay, let's tie this all together. We have our helpful lens, specific language, and understanding of how momentum works, and the 4 speeds.
But there is a physical limit here. You can only go so fast as one single individual.
Right. To truly execute a 15-move strategy, you eventually have to scale through other people. You have to build a team.
This brings up the fundamental difference between linear growth and explosive growth.
Because if you're just doing regular operations and standard networking, you'll only see linear growth. Your business will tick up slowly year after year.
It's safe, but it's very slow. To get that explosive exponential growth, the speaker says you need 2 very specific drivers.
And the first one is innovative campaigns. He describes these as positive distractions.
Yeah, think about the psychology of parenting. If you want to keep teenagers out of trouble, you don't just lock them in a room.
No, you give them a positive distraction, like joining a competitive sports team.
Exactly. They focus their energy on competing, getting tougher, and winning, rather than causing chaos.
And the speaker applies this exact psychology to business teams.
He does. When a business hits a slow month, instead of letting employees get bored or anxious, you launch a new, exciting internal campaign.
A contest, a new target, a sprint, something like that.
Yeah, it focuses everyone's energy, it keeps them competitive, and it drives that explosive output.
That is the first driver. But the second driver is the ultimate skill of a grandmaster in developing leaders.
And there is a massive difference between managing someone and developing them.
Right, a manager just hands out a checklist and says, do this.
But developing a leader means stepping away from the desk. It means taking a walk with an employee, handing them a specific book, and actively mentoring them to change how they think.
Because if you can build a team of people who analyze problems and negotiate deals the exact same way you do, your organization becomes unstoppable.
But this naturally leads to a difficult question.
Which is?
Well, if building a team of high-level leaders is the key to winning the game, where do you actually find them? Does traditional education prepare you for this kind of high-speed thinking?
The speaker's perspective on this is pretty controversial, actually.
Yeah, it really is.
He tells his own kids that getting a 2.0 grade point average is exactly the same as getting a 4.0.
Which goes against everything we are taught.
I know. But in his view, once you're out in the real world fighting for market share, no one really cares about the academic piece of paper hanging on your wall.
But if the grades don't matter to him, why would he even encourage them to go to college?
Because he views college purely as a team-building exercise.
Oh, I see.
He tells his kids to use university to build their network. He advises them to go befriend the wealthiest kids in the class to understand finance.
That's smart.
Go befriend the smartest tech nerds to understand engineering. Go make friends with the dean of the college to understand administration.
So he is teaching them to treat college like a scouting ground. The real value isn't the degree. It's identifying the brilliant, diverse minds who will eventually become your powerful team.
It is a completely different lens on education.
It really is. And it brings everything back to you, our listener.
Exactly. You can have a great story, you can collect the best data, and you can map out brilliant strategies.
But if you assemble the right team, the speaker says it is game over for your competition. An unmatched team is the ultimate advantage.
We have covered so much today about the mechanics of moving from a basic player to a grandmaster.
Yeah, from resetting your internal algorithm to how can I help, to surviving the painful friction of creating momentum, right down to the psychology of building leaders.
As we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over.
Okay, what is it?
Well, we've spent this entire deep dive focusing on how you can think 15 moves ahead. You've probably been analyzing your next personal or career move this whole time.
That's what I've been doing.
But what if your next 15 moves aren't about changing what you do, but completely changing who is doing it with you?
That is a move worth planning.
Thank you for learning with English through ideas. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe for more ideas, more English, and more growth.